This is the magicwordpodcast.com.
Hello, this is Scott Wells for the magicwordpodcast.com. I just wanted to say what a great time I had this last weekend. You heard the podcast episode, perhaps, that was the report on the TAOM showcase. It was not really a convention. It was not hosted by the Dallas Magic Club. I was in error there. I thought that it was, but actually it was hosted by the actual organization, the TAOM itself. And there were 4 people who were involved with all of that, and we had 103 registrants. You can go back and hear all that. Anyhow, following that, there was an auction that I was the auctioneer, and they had a good turnout of people. The Dallas Magic Club really turned out in great numbers and helped make it the success that it was. It was a lot of fun, lasted for about 5 or 6 hours. So we had just a lot of stuff in the live auction and in the silent auction, and we're going to be having, by the way, another auction, the world famous Austin Magic Auction, which is going to be coming up on, I believe it's February the 21st. So you might want to mark your calendars for that. I'm going to be one of the auctioneers for that particular event, and that always promises to be a lot of fun. And there are usually tens of thousands of dollars of stuff that are sold at that auction. And it's going to be a little bit different than what we have had in the past few years. Specifically, we're going to be having a kind of a mini convention in a way, in which during the lunch hour there will be a lecture, and then in the evening while everyone is checking out, in order to help kind of move things through and kind of to help kill time, I guess, we're going to be having a performance. I say kill time, that's a horrible way of having a magician introducing him, saying, hey, you're going to be performing, kill some time. So actually they're going to be performing. So and there are some big names that will be doing that. And the night before we're going to be having a Texas Collectors meeting. So that kind of makes it into like a full day and the evening, a day and a half kind of a thing. And it promises to be a lot of fun. Again, mark your calendar for that. Coming up on February 21st of this next year, going to be a great auction. Also, I want to mention we are going to be having another contest this coming month here in September. And so we will be giving away 4 books. We're going to be giving away 1 book per week. And so if once you've registered, you don't need to register again. Your name will stay in the hopper and your name could be drawn. So whenever you jump in, you have more opportunities to win this book. So the earlier, like I said, the earlier you decide to register, that way your name will be in there, and each week whenever we draw a name, yours could be the one. We're going to be starting that next week. Typically we wait 2 weeks before we start an auction, but this is going to be a little bit different. We're going to be auctioning something each week, and so this will begin next week. So go and register this week. We'll pull the first name next Thursday, and then in subsequent Thursdays throughout most of September until the 4 books are given away. And what book is it, you say? That is going to be called Castle Notes, Thoughts on the Why as well as the How. This is written by Steve Friedberg, a friend of mine who attends the 4F convention. He's a member of the Magic Circle. He also has performed at Magic Castle, Chicago Magic Lounge, and other places. Steve's a fine magician and a funny guy and a fun guy and a very knowledgeable gentleman. He was great friends with Howie Schwartzman. And the book itself, as he has given me a little blurb here, says, focuses on a combination of solid card effects as well as thoughts on the way to make your magic more powerful and ways to make you a better performer. He sent me a copy of it. I think it's a good book and something that can be in your library. I will also point out this is something that, because it can be sent to you as a PDF or a hard copy, this is open to any and everybody throughout the world. So therefore, we don't have to worry about foreign shipping, as it can be emailed to you since it's in a PDF form. And if you want to have a hard copy, he will send you a hard copy if you reside in the U.S., postage paid by him. If you want the hard copy and you live overseas, then he'll have to calculate the foreign postage and then charge you accordingly, and then you'll have to reimburse him for that. But if you want a hard copy, again, that is available, and there will be 4 copies of that book in either PDF or hard copy form throughout this month. So come back each week and see who it is that won. And if you have not yet signed up, whenever you hear that someone's name's drawn, then jump over onto the website, that is themagicwordpodcast.com, and each week throughout this month we're going to be having a form you can fill out, and that way you can have an opportunity to perhaps have your name randomly selected. We had just given away 6 copies of books that was compliments of H&R Magic books, and those have all, I believe, been sent out, and I want to thank everyone who had registered for that. All new contests right now, so we're wiping the slate clean. Let's start again. So again, go to the website, put in your name and email address, and enter the contest. Well, this week we are going to be speaking with someone who has been really a frequent guest on the Magic Word podcast. We typically only talk with someone one time, and even though their lives change and circumstances change, we don't get back to them for updates as to what's happening in their lives or whatever's going to be going on. We might catch them at a magic convention. For an example, Carissa Hendricks or Lucy Darling. I remember talking with her originally when she was starting off her career, but throughout the different magic conventions I have attended where she has been there, she and I talked briefly, and so you can kind of get updates along the way. She's told me if people listen to the podcast, they can actually hear her career as it grows and as it goes, so into her Lucy Darling act that she currently has. So anyhow, Fielding is someone who has been on here and featured a couple of times, and here he is this third time. And the reason is this is so significantly different. I think there are others who might be in a situation or know someone in a situation like this that you would like to maybe know some more information about this. Specifically, he has emphysema, which is a type of COPD, and he asked if he could talk a little bit about it and tell the rest of the world about what he's been going through, and perhaps if any of you have, again, experienced some issues like this, you should get it taken care of. So this is just kind of a little PSA, I guess, or a public service announcement that we are providing here this week, as well as talking with Fielding about a lot of other things that are important to his life. When we recorded this, it was last May, and since then, a lot of things have happened. He had celebrated another birthday just recently, within the last week or so, and also he has received another Merlin Award from Tony Hassini at the Merlin Awards dinner that was immediately after Magic Live. There were several others who had received awards, and I was glad I got a chance to sit at the table with him and see him accept the award. And also he talks about, in this particular episode, of going to, along with Lance Burton, to Abbott's and other places around the U.S. where he'll be performing. And he has since done that, and so those things have passed. And he's got more things now in the hopper when I talked with him recently. So he's continuing to keep very busy, very active, despite his symptoms of having to carry an oxygen tank around with him everywhere he goes. This is, again, another interesting perspective of Fielding than what we have heard from him in the past, but I know that you will enjoy it and you'll wish him well. And so please enjoy this episode from my friend and yours, Mr. Fielding West, here on The Magic Word. We are back in Casa de Fielding West here today, and it's been a while since we have last visited with Fielding. He's one of my favorite guys to sit and chat with and have a drink with. Today we've got a lot of things we're going to be talking about, none of it having to do with alcohol necessarily here with us, but just a lot about what he's been up to, what he's doing, and how he's feeling, and where he's going. So right now, I want to welcome my guest from Las Vegas, Fielding West. Hey, Fielding, how are you doing?
Thank you, Scott. It's always great to see you and talk to you.
Glad to have you here back again, and that I know for the last, how many years you've been working then with Lance, what, his Lance and Friends show?
8 years now.
8 years.
Yeah.
Wow, that seems like it was only yesterday.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, times move pretty quick.
Yeah.
At that time, that's kind. I mean, I know you've been doing a bunch of other things, including a lot of consulting. You were before and continuing to.
I teach people how to speak on stage.
Okay.
And I've been working now. Just took a job coming up on I believe it's the 19th. No, it's the 22nd of this month.
By the way, we're recording in May 2025 right now. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I will be. Oh, then I've already done this stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
The talk will be completed.
But Paul Draper is himself and another guy have partnered up, and they have online courses in a Zoom room. They get 25, 30 magicians in there, and then they bring in himself, this other guy, and myself, and we talk to them about what to do and what not to do on stage. Paul's got one way of approaching this. The other fellow, I'll be darned if I can remember his name. I haven't met him yet. And there's myself. And I've just listened to things that they've talked about and what they've said. And all three of us have a different approach to teaching stagecraft.
Okay. But does it all kind of come together and they're not necessarily at odds with each other? In other words, you're telling someone to do something and Paul said, no, you should be doing this.
No, absolutely not. I have, I've got almost 50 years of stage work behind me. And I'm sure everybody else is qualified. I just happen to be the oldest of this group.
The senior member.
Senior member, thank you.
Better way of putting it.
I like that. But as you know, I've had some challenges here in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And I've developed COPD during the COVID years.
Right. Had
pneumonia, did quite a bit of damage to my lungs. Wound up in the hospital for a while. And when I came out, it didn't take much to get me to lose my breath. I mean, I was panting all the time. And so I went to oxygen part-time. And those bottles that you get for free through your insurance only last 5 hours.
Wow.
My pulmonologist had finally informed me, he said, you're going to have to be on oxygen 24/7. And because your level, there's 4 levels to COPD.
And what does COPD stand for?
I knew you were going to do this.
It's a pulmonary disease.
I'll tell you exactly what it is.
Yeah. But
what is COPD? See, this AI thing. Chronic obstructive pulmonary disease.
There we go.
Okay? And my form of chronic obstructive pulmonary disease is called emphysema.
Okay.
So I have emphysema, which, if it wasn't for these oxygen concentrators that they've come up with, and I use the Inogen oxygen concentrator because I found that this particular company backs their products. They have a warranty and a guarantee on their stuff. Anything happens, the next day you have one of these delivered to your house. And I had one that went out on me. I was in public. I was at a show. And I was with some people, and they said I started acting real goofy. What was happening was I had no idea what was going on because my machine wasn't working. I was not receiving oxygen, so I had oxygen deprivation. And someone finally helped me out to another person's car. I made it home, got back on my other oxygen machine. And the next thing I knew, I was here, I don't even remember, but I wound up in the emergency room on oxygen for about 10 hours. And it was a real mess. But I called the company and they came out the next day. They had a machine delivered to my house, which that's a heck of a warranty. And it wasn't just a replacement. It was a complete replacement machine. I thought they were just going to let me use that until they fixed my other one. No, brand new machine.
Yeah.
Here you go.
If it's broken, they don't want that to happen again to give you a new one rather than risking it.
So, our friend Johnny Thompson, for those of you that are listening, the great Tom Sony. Johnny also had COPD in his latter years. and he hated carrying his oxygen machine with him, oxygen concentrator. And sometimes he just wouldn't take it. He would leave it at home because he didn't want the public to see that he had a rubber hose up his nose. And finally, and then he had special glasses made where this rubber thing that goes into your nose was in the stem of the glass. And then he would wear the concentrator on his back as a backpack. He went out of his way to hide that thing.
Oh, he did. I vaguely remember that.
Yeah. And I told him, Lance was on him most of the time. Lance would say, call him up, quit being an idiot. You have to be on this oxygen. And the main problem with COPD or lack of oxygen in the system, it's a killer. It either causes a stroke or it causes heart attacks. And it's one of the number one reasons for heart attacks and senior citizens with the COPD. You have to maintain a certain level of oxygen. And, excuse me, my oxygen, as my pulmonologist has explained it to me, is now my medicine. You should think of it as medicine. So when I take the oxygen meter and I put it on my finger,
right,
I'm not looking for 100% oxygen fulfillment in my system. I'm looking for 88 to 94 because of my levels drop, but they have to be maintained at that level. Well, this is enough about this. I want to share something how I came to grips with it. I decided that I was going to own the fact that I have COPD. I carry this thing around. I talk about it. I'll walk up to people and I'll take the hose out of my nose and I'll say, "Hey, you want a hit?" I just had started having fun with it.
Yeah.
And next thing I knew, I'd come up with this idea to go on stage. So I do my bird act, which is about 2 or 3 minutes. Come out with Bob the Bird.
Right.
And that's basically the limit of what I can go without the oxygen. And so my cue to the assistant is, "This crowd is so good, you leave me breathless." And she comes out with that machine. I strap it on over my shoulder, put this rubber hose in my nose, and turn to the audience and go, "And what? Quit show business?" So I go about that. Then I go back into my comedy routine. Now, I see the looks on people's faces. Some are perplexed. They don't know if it's a gag, or they don't know if it's real, or if it's just, a gag. So I do some comedy material, which lasts about 2 or 3 minutes. And then I say, and I think your audience is going to appreciate this, I'm fumbling around with the hose.
Right.
It's going into the machine, and I bring it up. And I say, "Have you ever seen these magicians come on stage with a piece of rope and a pair of scissors? And they cut that rope in half, then they manage to put it back together unscathed." I said, "Well, I don't find that very death-defying." So now I reach in my pocket and I pull out a pair of scissors. So here I am with the scissors, and I have a very slow setup to this where I'm about to cut it and I'm about to cut it. And finally I cut it. And I'm fumbling around with it, and I say, "I don't think I thought this thing through very well." And now you hear a heartbeat, bum, 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 bum. Then the heartbeat stops, and you hear a flat line. And then I've got a funkin' ring in my hand. I hit my chest, sparks blast out. I grab the hose and show that it's been restored. And I lean over to the mic and I go, "Ask your doctor if oxygen is right for you." So I've managed to put a routine together.
Right.
And so now the audience is at ease, that I'm at ease, and I do the rest of my act with it on.
Funny. That's very funny. Yeah, because once you address the elephant in the room, then...
Good point. The elephant in the room, once you get to the elephant, then everybody else is relaxed.
Right.
Because
they're all thinking that something,
Yeah.
You've got to, I don't care what it is. We've had this conversation with others before. I mean, if you're like when I'm working and I have my beard for my Santa Claus time of the year, and I come out, I said, "You're wondering what an overweight white bearded man is doing here, looking to see who's naughty and nice. But anyhow, because they think, oh, gosh, what a fat guy, what's he doing here? And a bearded guy. So I make fun of me being a Santa Claus looking guy, know. So whatever it is that is your look or your personality or whatever,
right.
That's one way to not only address it, but might be a way of introducing your character. In this case,
exactly.
You're introducing your character as being a comedian. You've already done some comedy,
yes.
But it's like, hey, I'm even making fun of my malady.
Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm. And my whole thing is that an oxygen deprivation or loss of ability to maintain oxygen levels in my system, that I have to rely on an oxygen concentrator 24/7, is not going to deter me from going out and performing on stage. Mm-hmm. Because at my ripe old age of 75, I feel I have a lot to contribute. And so I find this when I'm traveling in the Burton and Friends show. Lance has got me on as the last act. And he introduces me.
He should have you on earlier just in case you can't make it.
No.
I'm sorry, it's not funny.
It's specifically there for one reason only. I'm the oldest one in the troupe.
Yeah.
And so he when he introduces me, he talks about it's good to have Fielding around because he's got that AARP card, and he knows where all the specials are, and all the discounts in the restaurants. So that's why we like to hang out with him,
and probably where the bodies are buried, quite literally.
Well, yes, but he sets up the character because most of my material's old people stuff now,
and bringing it home because the audiences are family, but also a lot of older people, I assume.
It's older people, and I got to tell you. I was up in this first time I experienced what I'm about to tell you. I was in Santa Fe, New Mexico. The altitude is like 7,500 feet. Well, even with my oxygen concentrator completely cranked up.
Still can't breathe, hard to breathe.
Oh, no, I don't like to go to altitude places. Mm-hmm. And so I couldn't walk. So they put me in a wheelchair. Someone would come down with a wheelchair, put me in the wheelchair, take me down to the theater. I'd get dressed. They'd roll me up to the stage. Then I'd walk out. I'd do my act. Then I'd walk back, get back in the wheelchair, sit there until we were taking bows, take my bows, go back to the wheelchair. Then they would roll me out to sign autographs and merchandise with Lance and the rest of the troupe. But I'm in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and I'm talking the same entrance. I've got this hose bent in two.
Got a loop.
I've got a loop. I make a loop out of it, and I pull out those scissors, and I hear 2 or 3 ladies, and oh no, you can't do that. And I knew that that audience was on edge because there was a lot of seniors there.
Yeah.
So I just went and snipped it, and I had ladies, oh my God, this is not going to be good, and she's still talking. And I let her just ramble on because it put tension in the room, and it made it so much better that when I restored it, and I said, ask your doctor if oxygen is right for you, and I pointed to her. And when I pointed to her, I noticed from the angle I was at, she had
one of those on.
She had one of these on.
Oh.
She had the rubber hose up her nose, too. Mm-hmm. So the tension and I think it's an encouragement. That's what I think. I think that the message here is that you're saying it's all right. It's okay. Mm-hmm. When you have these things, I remember there used to be a lot of tension when I was a kid. If you saw somebody on crutches because they had polio, we always got kind of nervous when the polio kid came in the room. Or when somebody had diabetes, and I remember back when I was a kid, there was maybe one kid in the entire school.
It's pretty rare.
It was very rare. But now it's like every other house is diabetic. Right. So, and I have no political comments or anything to say about that other than it is what it is. Mm-hmm. But we learn to accept these things and we learn to move on. My diabetic friends, we have a lot of diabetic friends that are magicians and jugglers and dancers.
Take the business, right?
Yeah. So take it. My saying to everybody that's listening to this is no matter what happens to you in your life, just take the good and leave the rest. Mm-hmm. Just take the good and leave the rest.
I like that. Yeah.
It's something to live by.
Very important. Well, when you're working then with Lance, who else is working on the show?
Well, we have Keith West doing the illusions. He's the first act out. Michael Goudot, the juggler, who's been with Lance here in Vegas.
And he moved to Vermont. He's no longer in Vegas.
Not Vermont. He lives in
Virginia?
It's either North Carolina or South Carolina. I can't remember which one it is. But he's not. It's got to be North Carolina because he's not far from. I can't think of the name of the town now.
Asheville?
No, it's in
Raleigh,
Virginia.
Oh, in Virginia, Norfolk.
Yeah, it's in Norfolk. He flies out of Norfolk when he comes to meet wherever we're working.
Okay.
Yeah. Norfolk.
Why did he move from Vegas? I remember he used to also co-host with Penn on Penn Sunday School podcast.
Penn Sunday School. I don't know. He might still be doing that.
No, Matt Donnelly, I think, is the guy who does that with him now.
I don't know Matt. I don't think I know.
He's been around for about 4 years. I just met him recently. I was at Brian Brushwood, who does the Scam School and the World's Greatest Con, and he's modern rogue. Brian's well known. Anyhow, he had a weekend founders party a few weeks ago, and Matt and the other guys who are part of this Ice Cream Social podcast, I think is what it's called, and they're 3 comedians, very funny guys.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, and it's worth going and listening to their podcast too. In fact, I think the name was suggested perhaps by Penn because Penn Sunday School was kind of a parody, but not only that, they were thinking, okay, well, to play off of that, an ice cream social is something you do at a church, and then also, so that'd be kind of a funny name for these 3 guys because they're pretty irreverent to say the least, kind of a thing. But the point is that Matt, I believe, has been helping him for the last few years, and so when I was talking with him, I said, well, I didn't even know that Michael had moved somewhere. So he comes in and then joins you, and then I know that you had mentioned that Keith West is, I think he's in Oklahoma, isn't he?
No,
Where's he live?
Des Moines, Iowa.
Iowa, okay. And so he has to truck pretty much wherever he goes, and so that's pretty centrally located.
He carries all the illusions. Mm-hmm. He carries the show.
Yeah.
Lance has got a bus that he bought, a touring bus, and sometimes when we have dates that are pretty close to each other, we'll fly into a central point. Lance pulls up in his bus, and we all get on.
Yeah.
And the wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round.
How many people does Keith have as assistants? You have just 2 people? Or
He's got the Illusioneers. He's got 3 girls that work with him.
Okay.
He calls them the Illusioneers.
Mm-hmm. So it's just then that group.
Right.
Keith, Michael, you, and Lance.
And so those girls, one of those girls helps me in my show. She brings on my oxygen concentrator.
Did she come on like with a nurse costume or something? Or?
That's coming.
Okay.
There's someone's designing a nurse costume, which we think will be Lance thinks is going to be very funny.
Will we?
Yeah, we'll see.
Well, because that was the first thing I thought of whenever she was going to be rolling it out. I was picturing a call to the corner saying, "Oh, nurse."
Yeah,
for coming out in the nurse costume to do that then too.
Give me my oxygen machine and take this rectal thermometer back.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like the taste. Yeah. Anyhow, you guys play all over the United States in different places, and also it has to do with the cities donating to the local Humane Society. I know that Lance is very involved with.
Yes, he does, and so there's a catch there on the local Humane Societies, and Lance is the I would say a spokesperson, if not the spokesperson, for the International Brotherhood of Magicians in recruiting young people to go into the IBM that want to study magic and want to become professional magicians.
Right.
Or even if they don't want to be a professional magician, and they want to do it just as a hobby. And at the table, when they come up to get Lance's autograph, and they say, I just started doing magic. And Lance's first question out of his mouth, are you a member of the International Brotherhood of Magicians? Would you like to be? And he's got a stack that he carries with him of our magazine, The Linking Ring. And he just hands it to him and says, look here, you can go online, you go to this address, type it in, send him some money, right, and you will become a member of the International Brotherhood of Magicians.
And you get this magazine every month. And
you get this magazine every month.
You got to go to the convention, and also that, say young people, he's involved and has the Lance Burton
Young
Magicians
right?
group.
Exactly.
You're going to be there this year?
No, I won't be there, but he'll be there in Houston, right?
And
And this year's I get my 50. I've 50 consecutive years.
Oh, for the Order of Merlin.
I get the Order of Merlin from the International Brotherhood.
Excalibur, I think it is. After 50, is it?
Yeah, I don't know. Somebody just sent me a letter and said, "Are you going to be there? Because we want to present you."
Yeah. No, I thought that Lance and Company was going to be doing a show then. What? Maybe there's another convention I'm attending that you guys are supposed. Oh, I know where it's going to be. You're going to be at Colin at Abbott's,
Yeah, we'll
right?
be at Abbott's.
That's right. That's right.
That's in August.
Have you thought about, speaking of Abbott's, have you decided you're going to be buried out there? Have you thought about where you want your remains?
You're
or
talking
cremains?
about my remains and my
Remains?
burial?
Yes.
What have you heard?
Well, time's a ticking.
Time's a ticking. Well, you know what? That wouldn't be a bad idea. I guess I don't think of things like that. I guess it's better than somebody flushing the ashes down the toilet.
When I was just at the Collectors Expo, that Lupe Nielsen gave a phenomenal talk about Norm Nielsen and showed pictures from when he was a child and as he grew up, and told a lot about Norm that most of us didn't know. Most of us just know about the poster collection forward, but she was leading everything up to that, and also about his first, how he got involved with collecting, et cetera, et cetera. And then at the very end, she said, and this is where I'm going to have his remains, which will be, and she had a picture of the Lakeside Cemetery. So he'll be there. Of course, Johnny and Pam are there, and Tom Mullica and Blackstone.
Gary Darwin.
Well, that was why I was mentioning, is because that his Lance had done a eulogy and introduced and unveiled that headstone for Gary. And then the next year, it seems like there was another one of someone that he had unveiled. I think he helped with Walter Blaney's.
Yes, he did. The answer is yes.
When we did that.
Yes.
Because mine is right next to Walter's. So I've already
he
got a
stood
headstone
right there next to Walter's stone, and he had the bird cage.
Yeah.
And he did the vanishing bird cage.
So it just seems natural, I would think, that you would be there.
Well, I will have to consult those that are going to be in charge. I talked to Copperfield not too long ago, and because he likes my sense of humor. I said, David, I only want one thing from you. When I pass, Bill Smith has an old coffin, and I want it put up on what do they call it, a sawhorse.
Yeah.
And I want you, after everybody gets up and says their piece, of course, you know I'm not going to be in that thing because I'm going to be cremated, but I want you to get a saw and start sawing that thing in half until it collapses in on itself. And then just drop the saw and walk off.
And that's the end. That's the eulogy.
That's it.
Yeah. What did he say? Yes or no? Or let me think about it. Or that's funny.
Yeah,
fielding
the latter. Let me think about it.
Let me think about it. Let me get back to you, maybe.
Right, exactly.
So you'll be performing there. That's the only convention, magic convention this year that you know of that you guys are doing?
You know...
you just kind of get on the bus.
Lance always says to me, I'm on a need-to-know basis. I don't even know. I have to go to Keith West to find out where the dates are. Because Keith will tell me so that I don't try to get another date and overlap.
Yeah.
And so...
He'll let you know it far enough in advance.
Far enough in advance. So.
Yeah.
And when I do, like I'm going to Bakersfield here in a couple of days, and I'll be doing a show at Ron Saylor's
theater.
melodrama theater. And it'll be my third time in. I'm really excited about it.
You doing the whole show, or are you doing a show with Lance?
I'm doing an hour. It's called The Life and Times of Fielding West.
Wow, I wish I could be there. That sounds fun.
I do magic, then I tell stories.
Yeah.
Do another trick, tell stories of my life.
Are you going to stand up the whole time, or are you going to sit down?
No, I'm going to stand up the whole time.
Great for you.
Yeah.
Good. See, I think that's something that what you're saying to me is about how the force of spirit can be greater than your physical body.
Here's an example of what you're talking about. George Burns in the final years, the famous George Burns, was working at Caesar's Palace. And he had a cane. And he would be walking very decrepitly up to the edge of that stage. And the moment they said his name, he put the handed the cane to somebody, stood straight up, and walked straight out. And when he walked off, he walked straight to and then he bent back over, took his cane back, went back to his dressing room. So people were noticing this. as the story goes. And so Caesar said, you know what we can do? We've got this young gal that's real popular now by the name of Brooke Shields. So they dolled up Brooke. She's in a great outfit, and Brooke walks him out.
Yeah.
And, she's holding his arm, walks him to the center of the stage. George says, this is my friend Brooke Shields, and everybody gets real excited, and they all start applauding. And he says, honey, did you bring the lighter? He pulls out the cigar, and clips the end off of it. She pulls out the lighter, lights it, and she lights his cigar, gets it going real good. And he starts to walk off. She says, no, I want my lighter. She gets a big laugh. She has to go back and give him the lighter and says, my friend Brooke Shields. So Brooke walks off. At the end of his show, she walks back out there. George, are you ready to go? Yes, I am, honey. Say goodbye. Bye-bye. And so they say bye, and they walk off the stage.
Right.
To the standing ovation, which he always got. So there's a funny story about the RJ, which is the Las Vegas Review-Journal. One of the entertainment guys is interviewing George Burns. And he thinks, I don't know if he thought he was being cute or what, but he says, Mr. Burns. And George says, you call me George. He says, well, George, you've got Brooke Shields in your show. She walks you out, and then she walks you back. He says, what is there? There's got to be at least 60, 70 years difference in your ages. And George says, without breaking a beat, says, well, if she dies, she dies. And they printed that in the paper. And that was funny stuff.
Yeah, that is good.
Yeah.
There was a movie the two of them made together called Just You and Me,
Just
Kid.
You and Me, right, exactly.
And also Carl Ballantine, I believe, was in that movie.
Carl's in that movie? Yes.
Yeah, they were the no sleeves poker group. It was some sort of there were a bunch of ex-magicians apparently who played poker with each other each week, but they had to wear short sleeve shirts or something.
Yeah, sure they did.
What I remember from the movie though was something that George was talking when Brooke Shields or whatever her character name was came into his house, and she saw some battle axes on the wall. She said, "Well, why do you have that? On the wall?" She said, "Well, I enjoy looking at it." So, well, you own it, why don't you keep it upstairs or in the attic or something, then I wouldn't get to enjoy it. He said, I don't keep things stored away. Anything that I have, I enjoy. They should be out where I can see it and enjoy it, rather than just saying, I've got one of those or I have that, And I started thinking about that. And so I started living like that with my house. And then it got to be a museum with just all kinds of stuff. But it was everything that I could see that I have and that I own. If I didn't have room for it, then I wouldn't buy stuff.
It's a good point. I, on the other hand, have decided I looked around and saw all this magic that was just...
Yeah, as you get older.
Charlie Fry came over here a couple of weeks ago. He and his wife, Sherry, came over, and I said, Charlie, I don't even know what I've got in magic anymore. Mm-hmm. So he goes into this room that's just completely belabored. There's stuff all over the floors, the cabinets, and it's really not taken care of very well. Mm-hmm. And so Charlie starts going through the closets, going through the shelves, and he comes down with about 10 magic tricks that have never even been opened.
Still in the plastic, yeah.
Yeah, and he had a Martin Lewis's cardiographic.
Uh-huh.
Cardiographic. And it was, I paid, over $200 for this thing.
Great trick.
A wonderful trick, never been opened. Mm-hmm. And then I had the miniature cardiographic for close-up work.
Right.
Never been opened.
Yeah.
So we put a price on it, and Sherry, his wife, took a photograph of this on my end table, on my coffee table. And we did a description of what it was. Here's the asking price. I'd like to sell both of them together. You get a much better price if you buy both of them. And that was gone in about 12 hours.
Wow.
Yeah. And I just got a call. As you and I were having lunch, there's a kid up in California someplace who's buying one of my last coin, the Flying 50s. I don't know if you remember.
No.
You make the 50. You got a deck of cards sitting on a glass.
Yeah.
And you're making the coins disappear.
Oh, yeah.
And then all of a sudden you hear them. They penetrate and drop.
It's got a little mechanical thing, and so it drops them into.
That's the point. It's mechanical.
Yeah.
And as opposed to the newer version of this, which is electronic. Mm-hmm. So you hit a button.
The other one you just have to time.
Yeah, it's got a key.
Right.
And it has never, ever been used.
Okay.
And I just sold it today. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah. Well, I've got things also that I buy at auction that have been used by other people thinking I could use that and I'm getting a better deal on it.
Right.
And then at the end of the auction, they put them in these grocery bags and everything. It's got your number on it and then you pay and check out.
Sure.
A year later, I've still got that bag. I haven't even taken them out of the bag.
Well, I made the comment, Charlie made the comment to me. He said, "You've got all this magic. It's never been opened. It's up in your closets.
Yeah.
It's in drawers." So I said, "Well, Charlie, I go into a dealer's room at a magic convention, and I see a guy do a really good pitch. He does a really good trick with it. And I say, I want one of those."
Sure.
So I buy it. I get home and I go, "Oh, I'm never going to do this." I stick it in the closet.
Yeah.
And Charlie's been finding all my magic.
Yeah.
And all of it's,
I wonder, as creative as Charlie is, and you as well, since you and I still buy stuff, but we're more selective than we were when we were younger. But I wonder what kind of stuff that Charlie buys. Because a lot of things he creates, he knows what fits his character, as we all do. But does he still buy things, you think?
That's a good question. I go to Charlie's house about once a month. His wife makes zucchini bread. It smells and tastes just exactly like banana bread.
Yeah.
And it is, the whole house smells like it. It's fantastic. So when I could get up, he's got a 24 steps.
Yeah.
25 steps. It's a straight staircase.
Wow.
It goes right up to the next.
With your COPD, by the time you get to the top.
Yeah, by the time I'm up there, I need a nap.
Yeah.
But he's built a studio. And if you've seen him on Facebook, all during COVID, every day, he put on over 200 enactments of magic and juggling. Mm-hmm. And from what I understand, it may go to one of the cable networks.
Wow, how great is that?
Yeah, but for him, I find him to be one of the most creative, one of the best magicians and jugglers that I've ever had the pleasure to know.
I've heard people say that he's a modern day Johnny Thompson.
Oh, I would put him, yes, a step up. I love Johnny.
I know you love Johnny. Yeah.
But I
see a picture of him over your shoulders. We're talking right now, even,
right.
Of course, in frame there.
That came out of his house.
Yeah.
When he passed, they brought us over and they said, Lance and I over. And he said, anything in this house that you want is yours. Because they'd already collected all the magic. And so Lance and I were walking room to room. And I saw that. He says, Lance says, "You going to take that?" And I said, "Yeah." Then we go in another room and he see a picture. He says, "You going to take that, Lance?" He goes, "Yeah." And so here we were collecting stuff that we had seen. And if you look over my fireplace, there's Johnny's spittoon that was on his fireplace.
Yeah.
Along with a large brass bowling ball, solid brass bowling ball that somebody made for him. Because that was his closer.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they just made that for him, just kind of as a trophy or an honor. I mean, it wasn't in use. It was just something decorative.
It was decorative, right?
Yeah.
I may eventually either give or sell it to David Copperfield.
Yeah.
He's got all of Johnny's stuff now.
Speaking of which, I had a conversation with someone earlier this week about Valentino, because we were talking about the masked magician, and you knew him, and I said, I think he is dead. We believe...
Oh, this is a story that's been going back and forth.
There's no one really knows for sure about...
Well, this is another podcast.
Yeah.
We'll do that at another time.
But I knew he was someone you knew.
He was, and I told him, we were close. But after, he did the exposure on television, did 3 of them, 3 1-hour specials. I told him, I said, Val, I can't...
support you?
They shot up his house. People drive by and shoot it. Shooters, he had 3 kids.
Wait, there were drive-bys?
Yeah, the drive-by shootings and slashed his tires and keyed his cars. And
wow.
Yeah, he got attacked on a regular basis.
So whatever he paid was not nearly enough to help offset whatever he was having to repay for all that. And plus, all the negative publicity that he got.
But, he did that, 20 years ago?
He's still talking about it.
They're still talking about it, but look what happens. On Facebook and on Twitter every single day, there's 5 guys.
More exposure.
There's more exposure today than there ever has been.
And it is, I think, more serious today.
Much more
the things are
serious.
exposure. I mean, like when he was talking about levitation using a forklift or something.
Sure.
I mean, it was crazy stuff.
Right.
But today they actually expose methods in use.
Sure. Exactly.
Yeah. You have any take on exposure in general?
You know, I kind of feel I'm old school. When I got into magic, I was pretty much took an oath not to expose or to tell how the secrets are done, how the tricks are done. And I stay that way today. The only time I've ever exposed any magic was to another magician. And so I put out a tape, L&L Publishing, with Louis Falongo, up in South Lake Tahoe back in 2003. And it was a double. One was my show, and the other one was the explanation of what I was doing. And so, yeah. But that was only sold to magicians. That was not a public viewing.
Right. Yeah. I agree. That is separate, that you can explain something, like that. David Devant was kicked out of the Magic Circle and then later welcomed back. But that's because also he was kicked out initially because of exposing some things. And I may be wrong about this, but I think it was kind of the same thing, that he was trying to say, well, I'm trying to teach other magicians or people about this, and then later was welcomed back. But I think, it depends upon who your audience is. But if it's something, again, like TikTok or YouTube where it's cast to the ocean, you don't know who's going to be watching it. Or
Yeah, well, it's mostly to the general public. And it's a shame.
It is. The mystery, again, is important, but not nearly as much as what your presentation is. I mean, people cannot be a Fielding West. They can't be a Matt King. They can't be a Lance Burton. Everyone has their own personality, but they think and I say they, just kind of making a broad brush statement here, the magicians might be thinking that if I have that trick, that holy grail, I will become that next person. Or if I copy their act, I'm going to be doing that. But if you're copying somebody, that's basically it. They're not getting the real person. I mean, it's kind of like, I guess, if you are doing a tribute band to the Beatles or the Doors or something like that. I mean, they know you're not that group, but people know that you're trying to create that atmosphere. That's one thing. I mean, right now, if you try to act like David Copperfield and do something, it would almost be a parody.
Well, we had, here back in the 80s, we had, I won't mention their name, but we had a group of guys that came in from Europe, and they looked like Siegfried and Roy. They were
exactly what you mean.
They were doing Siegfried and Roy's illusions.
Yes.
They had tigers.
Yep.
They had cats.
They dressed kind of like them.
They dressed like them.
They were circus performers initially.
They were from the circus, right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
but then started doing the magic act and tried to make the big time and failed.
And failed. Right.
Yeah, but there was a lot of money, a lot of backing behind them.
Sure was.
I remember sitting down and having dinner with them one night, and this was long before the podcast. I wish I would have had something they recorded back then.
Exactly.
But I mean, they were very nice to me. I was writing for Magic Magazine at the time. I think they were thinking I was going to write a feature article about them or something. But,
right.
Anyhow, yes, but what you're teaching when you are doing your motivational speaking and everything is that you are encourage people to be themselves, I assume.
Yes, and I do that through storytelling. I start off with story, and I say everybody's got stories that they tell their friends, things that have happened to them in their life. It's a love. It was a car accident. It was a football game. It was you and your friend going on a fishing trip. There's all kinds of stories, and everybody usually tells a story in about 2 minutes. So to loosen people up, to get them talking, in my course, I have them talk for 2 minutes on a microphone. I show them how to use the microphone. That's a basic stand-up microphone, not
Not
what do
the
they call it?
lavalier or like a countryman or something.
No countryman. This is a straight microphone technique.
Right.
Yeah. And what you do if you're put behind a podium to give a speech. So I address the stage in several different ways, and how you handle people, how you walk off the stage, how you get a volunteer on the stage, and how you take them off the stage. Because I've noticed a lot of the young magicians, they'll get somebody up, and they go, okay, you can go back to your seat.
And don't help them back down the steps or...
No, and it's even worse if it's a lady.
Yeah.
It's just, and it shows a real lack of
Disrespect.
courtesy. Yeah, there's no respect. And that's not good.
I agree. Well, let me ask you about selection of volunteers. That often is a very difficult thing to get the right person. And so do you watch the audience and see how they react to the first few tricks and then say, okay, I kind of see who I think?
No, exactly. That's what that's for. Mm-hmm. I do certain tricks in my act, and to see what kind of response it's going to elicit from males and from females. Mm-hmm. There we go. Thank you. My rubber hose is banging against my microphone.
Yeah. So you decide by which ones you're going to
absolutely
bring on by how they're responding.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So you have to be, the point to that story is being very conscientious, obviously, of your audience. You're just not throwing lines out there. You're vetting them.
Exactly. I'm vetting them. Mm-hmm. Very good term.
Yeah. Then as far as handling the microphone, do you encourage people to take the mic off of the stand and then walk around with it as
There's
well?
There's a technique of doing that. And we all know Billy McComb came up with a device called the gem clip.
Crack.
Gem crack. And it was basically a string around your neck.
Right.
It was fastened to a piece of plastic that was molded that you could snap a microphone into.
Right.
And that way the mic would be down just below your chin, and you could talk and it would pick up the sound. Mm-hmm. I have techniques for doing various things, especially when you're doing sleight of hand, and you have a microphone stand. So I was taught back in the 70s, one of my teachers was a guy named Jim Green from Jacksonville, Orange Park area in that part of this country, North Florida. And he would teach me what to do. And the way he used to say to me, it was really funny, watch what I'm going to do. I want you sitting here today. I want you sitting over there today. Watch what I'm doing. Watch how I get people up. Mm-hmm. Watch how I get them back down. You have to take your time. You have to do this. So I had good teachers.
Yeah.
And they're still alive, which is great. We get together about once a year.
And so are those things you teach in your Zoom classes, then as well?
Well, I'm going to find out because this will be my first Zoom class to teach speaking.
So is it the part that you're helping, you're saying that Paul Draper is going to be working on part, is he working with blocking and you're working more with the...
I'm going to have to watch what the other guys are doing.
Okay, play off of them.
Sure.
Yeah, okay. Have you got any TV work in the works or anything? I know that you've done some in the past, but...
Done a lot of television. Yeah, as a matter of fact, this coming week I will be doing 3 4-minute interviews. Mm-hmm. Actually, 4. One is 3 are for ABC, NBC, and CBS. And there's those midday things where you're being interviewed. And we have Fielding West with us today. What's going on, Fielding? Well, as you know, I'm the president of Variety, the children's charity of Southern Nevada. We have an event coming up, a fundraiser. And everybody's going to have fun. And these are the people that are going to be performing. And you're going to want to buy those tickets now. Mm-hmm. And we get the QR code, and this is how you get to it. Or if you don't want to go, just make a donation. You can buy a ticket and make a donation, or just make a donation. So that's what I'm going to be encouraging people to do. Then I'm going to be interviewed on a podcast out of the Silver Sevens Hotel. Mm-hmm. And that's going to be a midnight one. That's going to be it's going to be presented late at night.
Is that like a live podcast?
Well, I'm not staying up that late.
Okay.
So they're going to have to shoot me in the afternoon.
But it's video also.
Oh, yeah. It's a visual. And I'll get that information to you so you can see it.
And I know whenever that Lance goes into town, I guess he does some things also when you're doing the cities for the Lance and Friends show.
Yes. If he knows where he's going, they get a front. Keith West will get him on a midday show. And what they used to do was they used to send in Lance's shows, the ones he did for NBC. Yeah,
with that roller coaster escape. Yeah.
They would send that to him and say, go ahead, you can run that. Mm-hmm. Go ahead and run it. And then tell everybody, out of all the commercials that are going to be in that 1 hour special, I want 4 that say come to my show.
Right. You can have it for free. Run it for free.
Yeah, and the rest you can make money off of whatever you're going to sell.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that was a very good thing.
Yeah.
Very effective. But I would say 99 and 9/10% of all the shows that I've done with Lance are complete sellouts.
Wow.
They're sold out. They're standing room only. Mm-hmm. It's family audiences. So it's a very clean show.
Yeah.
And it's a 90-minute show.
Wow.
Kids love it.
No break?
Oh, no, it's 90 minutes straight through.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And when you do that, are they like in performing art theaters and that kind of a thing, or gymnasium?
Interesting, you should say that. We're going to, what do you call those outdoor?
Amphitheaters?
I'm going to my first amphitheater, and that's going to be in Decatur.
Illinois?
Decatur, Illinois,
Yeah.
And that's coming up June 7th.
Okay. Yeah. Have you not worked outdoors before at the show?
When I was younger,
Yeah.
I'd stand on a
Flatbed
or something.
Those were the days.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit different. Well, thanks for the advice and everything that you had given then also. And it's great to see that you're moving forward and not letting your situation define you.
Thank you, Scott. This is always a great opportunity to sit and talk with you because we cover so many different subjects.
Yeah. We do. And one last thing, again, if you can reiterate, remember what it was you said earlier about...
only take the good and leave the rest.
There we go. There's the magic words.
That's the magic words. It's the golden rule my grandmother used to say. Treat people the way you want to be treated.
Yeah.
And take the good and leave the rest. Even people that are less than honest have good qualities. So just take the good and leave all the rest.
Corollary to that is take the gun, leave the cannoli.
That's a good thing to close on, my
There
friend.
we go.
That's it.
So
Thank
with
you.
the Magic Word Podcast, that was Fielding West. This is Scotty out. Thank you very much, Fielding, for being my guest here this week. That was another delightful chat that we had there in your home, and I always look forward to our conversations. And I look forward to seeing you the next time. Stay well, my friend. Well, I want to again remind everybody, if you'll go to the website at themagicwordpodcast.com, there you'll see a form you can complete with just your name and your email address, and please enter that if you're interested in receiving a copy of Steve Friedberg's book. He'll be glad to send one to you, and we'll announce the first winner then this next Thursday. And speaking of next Thursday, I'm back on the convention trail then again, so I'll be heading to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina for Magic at the Beach. It promises to be yet another great convention. That one has always been a relatively small convention and continues to be, and it's in a great theater there, the Charles Bach Wonder Theater. It is just a lot of fun, good people, and a good variety, got good food, a good location. Everything about that is just perfect. I feel so welcome, and I feel like family whenever I go there. Jerry Thompson takes good care of me, and all these other guys are just so wonderful. So thank you, Charles Bach, for putting that on. Look forward to seeing you next week, and I'll be reporting the convention from there. And while I'm there, I've got a few people who are going to be listed as talent that I'll spend some time with, and you'll get to hear more details and in-depth conversations with them in upcoming weeks. So until then, stay well, get booked, and remember to take the good and leave the rest. This is Scotty out.